season because there's been so many twists and turns. Even like the Arsenal-West Ham game the other day, it was just
crazy.
It was crazy, and that's why I just still think that we might get one more.
Yeah, so just to remind, to say what I was telling Jolien there, the first game of this weekend is Villa-Liverpool Friday night. If Villa win that, then they are guaranteed Champions League football.
So again, that is not a given to play Liverpool. It's not a given to beat them. Liverpool obviously need the points themselves. So, but even if there is a winner in that game, Bournemouth win their last 2 games, and they qualify.
They could do.
Yeah, they could qualify. So it's
still
everything to play for.
And Liverpool or Villa could lose both of those or only get one more point.
Well, even Brighton are in the mix, aren't they?
Yeah, but they're not playing Manchester City.
No, I know, but I'm just saying that. I mean,
they are absolutely, yes.
You know, and we've got Leeds away and United at home, so that'll change, I think.
Oh, it has to change. Not all of them can win, and not all of them can lose. So it's definitely going to change. It's just in the favour of which team, and you have to say it's going to be in favour of Arsenal. I don't see them dropping points against Burnley, the greatest respect, and you'd like to think in the last game of the season they would see it out.
But you would like to think, as difficult as it is, if City know they've got to win at Bournemouth, they could do and take this wonderful race to the final day.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I was at the Emirates, Bournemouth against Arsenal, and I sat right behind Iraola, and I couldn't believe how good his team played. I couldn't believe what a job he did, how calm he was. Stevie just stood there, just making notes, really chill. Everybody else around him was stressed and chaotic, and I think I couldn't get over how composed and how brilliant his team played tactically. Absolutely. You know, steamrolled Arsenal at the Emirates, so they could easily beat Manchester City. But again, he's playing for probably one of the biggest jobs if he wants one. He's obviously leaving Bournemouth. And I think he deserves a top job because his team's in possession, out of possession, they're exceptional. They play super aggressive. Players improve. He sells half his team. He doesn't care. He makes them better. And they've got some real flair in there as well. Ryan is a terrific player on that right-hand side. He's found a bit of form. So, yeah, I mean, anything could happen, I think, in any of these games.
And what it does mean as well is if Arsenal do win the league, they can't win it and lift the trophy at home now with this scenario. It would either be, obviously, dancing around their living rooms on Tuesday night when City don't win at Bournemouth, or at Crystal Palace. So they can't do it at the Emirates, Arsenal.
Yes, I don't think there's a bad way to win the trophy in a bad location. They'll be celebrating.
After 22 years.
Yeah, I think they'll find a way to celebrate and watch and congregate together. I'm sure the fans will enjoy it. So, listen, ideally...
In an ideal world, the fans want to see it. But
yeah, of course you do. Ideally, you want to do it at home, the last game of the season, whatever that looks like. But if you're winning it after 22 years, as you said, you take it at Selhurst Park.
I mean, it will be... I mean, they still got the Champions League final to play for. I know they're underdogs against PSG, but to take that momentum into that type of game, in a one-off game, they can beat PSG, you know, with David Raya and that back four. I think Declan Rice is going to start... It will play deeper, play as a 6 in that Champions League final. So, still so much to play for. And it could be a historic season for Arsenal.
You two both won it on the last day in the Premier League. That's what we want, isn't it? We want that nerves and drama and...
Now I'm out of the game, yeah. When I was in the game, I don't want it like that at all. But yeah, it is obviously very more dramatic to win it that way. But I think both of them teams now would take winning it the penultimate game of the season.
You won it at Wigan, didn't you? Of all places. Yeah. Mind you, about half the stadium that day were United fans, to be fair.
But you know what? I didn't think there was any. I don't even know. I didn't even think for half a second there was any doubt. Not even. And we had a Champions League final to come as well, so I just think you kind of had this inner belief that you were going to get over the line.
You were in a similar situation to what Arsenal are now.
Yeah, but you had a lot more experience at winning.
It's
less nerves. So
I'd say no nerves.
Yeah. And if you didn't win the league...
I'm not trying to be that.
Yeah.
I really, Steve, I swear I didn't even start the game. I'm thinking, we'll be good, You know, I mean, Rooney, Ronaldo, Tevez, Giggs, Scout. I mean, you could pick any of them. And we would have been good.
He's just showing off now, dropping names.
Let's not
talk about nerves and two Champions League final penalty shootouts, because we digress. That's a fascinating story. Let's get back to the game tonight. Phil Foden, we talked at length about him beforehand, getting his opportunity, getting his spark back, getting his confidence back. We saw that in abundance. Player of the match. And what about these assists?
Sensational performance, full of confidence, full of unique ability shown from him. And I'm really pleased for him as an individual, because I said I know Phil, I know how much he genuinely cares about football, loves Man City, but he's obsessed with the game, and that bit of skill. We were just saying off there then that we're not sure that many players could have played that facing the goal with the weight of pass, and he's done that with the heel of his foot. Unique.
Paul Scholes is one of the best at this. Standing still, checking your shoulder, allows you to know where everybody is. Time and space, sits in that little pocket, but the execution of this, I mean, there's backspin on it. He looks over his right and then his left. I mean, it's just fabulous. Thing is, in an era now where there's almost players are overcoached, this is just off the cuff.
Yeah.
Just is feel. And you gotta trust these guys to just play. When you got players like Phil, just to make a run for him and he'll find you. And obviously Semenyo's been terrific, but Phil, Foden hasn't played as much. Obviously Cheki's coming and been terrific, but Phil is such a unique talent. I know he can play wide, but actually now I think I'd love to see him get a little extended run in the middle.
Yeah, impressive numbers those for Antoine Semenyo. Let's get some reaction from the Etihad. Josko Vardiol is waiting to speak to us, who made his return, of course, tonight after 27 games out. And what a return with that win. Josko, well done. How good does that feel?
Thank you, guys. First of all, hi to everyone. Finally I'm back. It hasn't been easy job and journey, but yeah, I'm glad to be back, and glad to get some first minutes as well. And
also to be back in a game where you had to win, and you did win very professionally in the end.
Yeah, as you said, we have to win every game till the end of the season. So yeah, we got the 3 points today. Now we need to focus on Saturday, FA Cup final. So yeah, quick recovery, and then we travel to London.
Josko, congrats on coming back and playing your first game. I know it's been a long time, and it's always hard to be out injured. Jolien and I were kind of joking and guessing before what the formation was, because it looked, I don't think I've ever seen it. It was like a 2-4-4, or what position were you playing, by the way? Because you seem to be everywhere.
First of all, I didn't expect that I'm going to be in starting 11. But yeah, position as a positional fullback, left fullback, and then with the ball in a pocket with Phil. So it's something that I used to play last season. So not something unusual for me, but it was a lot of running today, so I'm a bit exhausted.
Josko, it's Jolien. How much confidence does it give you knowing that Pep enjoys and trusts you in such an advanced position?
It gives me a lot. It gives me a lot, especially as I mentioned now. I didn't expect that I'm going to be in first 11, starting 11. And I'm more than happy to get my first minutes, especially now because it's the end of the season and we know that we are still here fighting, hoping that a miracle can happen. So happy to be with the team, and especially today to get some minutes.
Yeah, and you say fighting and hoping. How, you keep doing all you can do, isn't it? Just pick up those wins and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean it's simple. Just win every next game, and I mean, guys, you know better than me. This is Premier League, and we know how interesting it is actually in the last game of the season.
And just finally, I know you're not even thinking about it yet. You've got an FA Cup final and Premier League games, but 35 days time you play England, our country, in the World Cup. So nicely to be back for you for that one.
It will be nice. Hoping that I'm going to make it as well to the World Cup. But let's go game by game and try to win FA Cup on Saturday.
Good luck with all of that, Josko. Great to see you back.
Good luck.
Great to see you too, guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Josko Vardiol, who you were saying, if he starts next season fit and is injury-free, he could be one of the best around in that position.
Think about what he just said there. He played left-back last season. He's actually a centre-back. And Pep, after not playing for 6 months, said, go play in the pocket
Next to Phil.
Next to Phil Foden. I've never heard a centre-back play there. That's how good he is. I mean, he's playing as a centre-back in the
expecting to play.
Didn't know he was playing there. But again,
Incredible.
he's trusted because he's over the time he's been there, he's created a lot of opportunities. I think there was a chance early in the season for Haaland in the Champions League. He was the player that played the ball for Phil Foden to get the assist, the second goal. So in possession, he's very well trusted and regarded.
He actually has an incredible feel, doesn't he, Jordan? I don't think you can teach that. He just has a feel for... Trossard has that, I think, for Arsenal. He has a feel, that's where that goal came from, to when to come in. I think Josko has a feel for... That's probably why he's too impactful to play as a centre-back, because I think with a centre-back, you've got to stay and have discipline. But from the left, the runs that he made, the impact that he had on games in terms of creating, scoring goals, didn't he, Jolie? And it was remarkable. So he's so versatile. I don't think I've ever heard a centre-back play in a pocket, ever. Have you, Jolie?
No, not that far advanced. We've seen John Stones play in midfield,
but
obviously more
deeper,
but to start in there, to be trusted in there in such an important game, yeah, it's unique.
Yeah. We've seen Foden's fabulous assist for 1-0. We think it might not be deliberate, but he'll get an assist for the second one as well for Marmoush.
Yeah, and you create your own luck, and a lot of coaches said to me over the years, it's better to be lucky than good, and I think he is slightly fortunate here. I think his reaction to try and recover the ball straight away shows that it all indicates that he didn't mean it, but this is the good part. Again, Guardiola's out wide, Phil Foden recognises the space in between, and a deft pass and the slight adjustment of the ball inside the box, and for me, Marmoush, we've got a typical striker's goal.
Yeah, I mean, they just got so many bodies forward. They dominated possession, so Phil had a bit of freedom in there. Marmoush with an exceptional turn. Such a good finish as well. He shouldn't score, really, from that position. I think it's Mitchell gets too tight on Marmoush, but he knows where everybody is. He's already scanned before, and he knows to go back across goal. I mean, it is an exceptional goal. They have so many. Obviously, Haaland was on the bench. Marmoush is a brilliant in terms of running in behind, and then obviously Phil Savinho played. He hasn't played much. Semenyo continues to have a big impact. Cherki came off the bench and was putting on a little bit of a show when he did as well. So it was. I was just delighted for Phil, because Phil Foden, he's such a special player, and he deserves to show his talent on this stage.
And Marmoush, you have to be patient, don't you? I know he's had his injuries. When you want to play down the middle and you're behind Erling Haaland, you know the script, don't you, when you sign? So when you do get an opportunity, and he's just now scored in back-to-back Premier League games, just the second time in his career.
Yeah, it's important that you're efficient, because the chances will come, because Man City will create chances, but you have to be patient because, as you said, Erling Haaland is unique to football. So if you want to challenge for his position, there's a lot of periods where you probably won't play and probably won't feature, but when given opportunity, you have to do what he's done over the last 2 games. And
maintain that sharpness, that concentration. I mean, that was a fine finish, wasn't it, that one?
Really good. Look, he's a very good goal scorer, but obviously he's probably not going to play as much with Haaland in there, and now I think with Doku and Semenyo kind of cementing those positions, Cherki as a number 10 plus Phil, there isn't really, unless he's resting people, I don't think there's much space. But again, I think for club, he's shown that he can be a super player. He'll have a big say, I think, in this summer's World Cup as well. So he'll want to keep himself in good form for that. But every time I watch him, the thing I like him, he's always really dedicated. He's always really willing. I think with City, you see a lot of players come short to the ball. I think Marmoush's greatest attribute is to run in behind and make space. And that's why I think he's really unique for Pep, because he'll actually, with his runs, he'll make space for other people rather than come short like a lot of the players have.
Right then, Ryan Cherki came on and he wanted an assist of his own. Talk us through this one.
One of the best ones I've seen this season. I mean, I love this, really slow, patient build-up. Look at Cherki go short to get the ball. Watch this little flicker from over, I don't want to see it later. And then he's drifts into this little space. He's just waiting, Jolene, isn't he? Yeah. Just waiting. This pass is silly.
The timing is exceptional again. He did a similar action in the game at Sellers Park, and he skipped past Wharton, and then he waits and he's running at the right speed, and also the timing of the pass, the weight of the pass, it allows Savinho to make the finish. But again, even that touch there, Owen, the fact that he goes a little bit wider, and now he's running at the fullbacks, and now the fullback's got a difficult decision to make.
He had Kovacic and Semenyo, and he chose to play the harder pass.
Yeah.
He's just bowling out there. You know what I mean? Seeing pictures of other people. I didn't think for a second he'd play that pass. It was actually harder. And I think it's nice to see these players, that the game has become so strict with tactics and formation. Guys like Phil and Cherki that just do stuff off the cuff. I think it's what we want to see.
And they're sharing the goals around now in different games after that people saying over-reliance on Haaland. I mean, Savinho's second ever Premier League goal, actually, but they're weighing in different games in different areas.
Yeah, and again, I think they are relying on Haaland, and so they should be, because he's one of the best at doing that when he's in the team. But obviously when they're not, and he's not in the team, they do create opportunities and chances in a different type of way. So they're just playing to individual strengths. That you're not going to play the same ball to Savinho as you are to Erling Haaland, and vice versa. So it's recognising who's in possession, who the chances for, and creating opportunities that way.
Talking of creating opportunities, this man certainly did tonight. Man of the match, Phil Foden.
It seems like a special night for you, no? Personally, we really saw you enjoying your football. How could you describe what happened today?
Yeah, like you said there, I was just enjoying my football. Played a little bit deeper today, but really enjoyed it. A lot of touches, getting involved in the game a lot. It helped me grow into the game and come back to myself. So, yes, really happy to help the team. Thought it was a great performance. There's such a tricky side to break down at times. But yeah, I think overall, I think we all have to be happy with the result.
What did Pep say to you in that hug after you were subbed out? I don't know if you when you were subbed out. Yes.
I can't really remember, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know. I was just dead, to be honest, because I haven't played for a while. My legs was gone. But yeah, I can't remember.
Okay, how would you sum up your season personally wise?
Two different sides. I think the first half of the season really good, and then obviously the second half a little bit less. But you know, it happens to loads of footballers. You just got to keep going, keep believing in yourself, and you know, I'm a team player. I try and help the team as much as I can. I'm always ready to try and help them whenever I get the opportunity, and I know it takes everyone to win titles. So yeah, like today, you know, I got the opportunity to play, and I was just happy to help the team, and that's what it's about, sticking together and having each other's backs.
In the collective standpoint, you are still there in the Premier League race. How do you guys take this opportunity in the last two matches, knowing that you don't depend in yourselves, but the possibilities is in there, no?
Yeah, anything can happen. You know, there's still a chance, so we have to keep believing. Just keep trying to do our job, don't think too much. Just play our football, play our game, and like I said, anything can happen in football. We've seen it before, so yeah, it's exciting. You know, we've still got also an FA Cup as well to win, so still a lot to play for. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Phil.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, they certainly have. Body language-wise, he looks in a good place there, Phil Foden.
He should be. Again, we don't know what's happened or gone on away from the pitch, but on the pitch tonight, he was back to his best. So I don't know why he wouldn't be smiling and look as happy as he should be after a performance like that. And yeah, he was honest about how the season's gone, and fair assessment. Strong first half, not so strong second half, but now when it's the business end of the season and the last 4 or 5 games, there's an opportunity to really build the momentum and stake a claim, especially with the World Cup coming.
Yeah, 82 minutes he played tonight. That's his most since January the 4th, which is why he probably said I was dead on my feet when he came off.
Do you know, he's such a nice lad. I think he was just trying to be nice. Do you know what I mean? He's just an amazing player. He's got great skill, great endurance. Technically, he can do everything. He's got speed. He literally has everything. Phil, I know he's an academy player and he's come through. Imagine what he would cost in the prices of some of these players, you know, the market values. And he could make so many teams in the world better. I know he hasn't played that much, but today, playing a little bit deeper.
He said he enjoyed that, more touches.
Do you know, we said we were joking. I mean, this is just amazing. But, you know, I just thought he had a huge impact on the game. Bernardo played deeper where Rodri plays and kind of controlled the game, which allowed Phil to kind of go and find these little pockets of space. And he's smart. You know, good. We always say good players find space. Look, Phil always finds space. Obviously, he gets a little bit lucky there, but I just thought his overall impact on the game, everything he did, Jolien, his weight of pass,
Decision-making.
You know, like the switch, everything was right.
Yeah, it was clean. His technique is clean, and again, they're the passes that you're thinking, that's the level of confidence you need to have. And seeing the pictures, I don't think we'd ever question his ability, but then you get moments like this that go, yeah, see you later.
Even that pass, Jolien, it looks like nothing, but the weight of it's like, boom, and he fizzed it in. Everything he did had
this touch. again, they're the little bits that are probably unique to him.
Yeah, you're right.
And Cherky, possibly you're looking and thinking there's probably only 2 players on the pitch that could do them things in these areas and see the pictures and make it. And again, it's a new facet to his ability and his game. The fact that he's trusted deeper, because there's a lot more defensive responsibility. It isn't just about getting on the ball and making things happen and looking good. It's about, are you in the right positions to notify their attack? And
even that little header.
Yeah.
It breaks. It's such an important thing, I think, when you're going to play in that midfield. I thought him and Bernardo Silva, even though they're not the biggest, I thought they controlled the game, but they dovetailed really well. And I think the biggest thing for Phil is sometimes you've seen him, he hasn't smiled. He looked happy today, and I think when you're happy, you can play with confidence.
76 touches, it has hardly played, but that's the most since December. But that's what City fans want to see, him on the ball as often as possible.
Definitely, and I do think the probably natural progression for him is taking over from Bernardo in regards to his role in the team. I think it's not all then about goals and assists, it's about the contribution. How can you control the tempo of the game? And there's not many better than Phil Foden at doing that. So if they can find a way to develop that skill rather than just when we ever talk about Phil, it's how many goals has he got, how many assists has he got. It's not always the case. Even Doku's stats-wise isn't as great as other wingers in the league, but if you talk about how impactful he is on the game, then you recognise his ability.
I mean, Phil hasn't really played in the last 6 months, but I think in terms of goals, assists, he's probably got the same amount as Doku in and around. So that tells you, I mean, in the last month we've been saying Doku might be arguably the best player in the Premier League. So I think the impact he could have on the team. I think the thing with Phil is people don't understand how quick he is and how explosive he is. So often you see him, he's always running. Pep, I think, sometimes likes players like Rodri and Bernardo that stand still. And I think if he can develop that and he stands, then he can use his burst of pace. But I thought today we saw a glimmer of him maybe playing a little bit deeper when Bernardo leaves next season.
That's a great point, isn't it? Because that's going to be a massive hole to fill, Bernardo Silva, captain this year. That Phil Foden maybe, as you say, with some adaptation.
Yeah, hopefully.
Right there.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely got the capabilities and the attributes to do it. And obviously, the stature is very similar. The way they manipulate the ball is probably more explosive than